I think this might be the first time I've started an episode with the thermal visor on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Metroid Prime. In the last episode, we came down here into the kind of depths of the Phazon Mines, and this episode we'll be exploring even further into the depths of the Phazon Mines. But first, where we are here in the kind of the fungal hall, there is actually a secretly sneakily hidden missile expansion. If we come to the end here, you'll see there are all these mushrooms in a circle. Well, you won't really see them, but there are all these mushrooms in a circle. And at the centre, a missile expansion. But it's underground. If we drop a standard morphball bomb, then we can get the missile expansion. Excellent. Right, I'm just going to head back up to where I was. And as you can imagine, we're fairly close to... What I was going to say is, as you can imagine, we're getting close to the end of the Phazon Mines, and thus the kind of inevitable boss. If you've been paying attention to some of the pirate data and stuff we've been getting so far, you will know what the boss is going to be. But, oh, here's something really weird that's never fucking explained. Fucking X-ray bomboos. Apparently a thing now. So these are, yeah, just normal pulse bomboos that can only be seen... that's Phazon. They can only be seen with the X-ray visor. They're not a different scan or anything like that. Indeed, you can't scan them at all. They're just a weird one. So, who bloody knows? Anyway, now we're in a quite much bigger room here, and we get a new scan. These had to come up inevitably. Indeed, these are plasma troopers. Exactly the same concept as all the other types of coloured trooper. And I'm going to test out my new flamethrower on them. That thing's great fun. It doesn't do as much damage as you might hope, but I love how you can just kind of like smear it around like that. Anyway, we actually need to. So there's more plasma troopers across here. Actually, I might as well take them out so they don't piss me off. But space pirates have got a hell of a jump on them. At least kind of like... One thing that does bug me with the kind of flavoured troopers is that they don't even shoot the beam that their element is based on. Like, they all just have the same, like, standard space pirate gun. It would make a lot more sense to me if, like, the plasma one shot a kind of vaguely fiery weapon, the ice one shot an icy one, but no, they all just have the standard pirate gun, which I just don't get. Anyway, if we come across here, we can then swing off this thing. Hey! And now we get to this thing, and we can deactivate another security console. And that kind of freaks out this guy, so let's just kill them. And we actually are about to get something quite significant. What the hell? That's a wave trooper up there. What's that doing? Oh well. It's kind of, they are, like, I can see the point of, like, mechanically of the flavoured troopers, because they kind of, like, they force you to, like, switch weapons and stuff like that. It's the same as having, like, different doors, but it just feels a bit silly when, like, none of them actually have different weapons. Anyway, if we scan this here, this is, oh, press 1 by accident. This is our final pirate data. Space pirate encrypted data decoded. As we continue to observe the development of Project Helix's elite pirates, it becomes increasingly obvious that these warriors will usher in a new era of space pirate dominance. They are incredibly resistant to damage, and their ability to transform and wield so many weapons at once makes them the ideal mainstays of our ground forces. Though they are not as quick as typical pirates, it makes little difference. With a platoon of elite pirates in the vanguard of an army of normal and flying pirates, we will have a near indestructible backbone that should turn the tide in any engagement. Well, that's sinister. And then if you listen carefully, you can actually hear the power-up sound as well. It's coming from this tank. I'm not going to scan it, but trust me when I say it's made out of cordite! And gets one of the final few missile expansions in the game. The penultimate one, actually. There's 250 in total. We're on 245. So that's awesome. And like I said, we've now pretty much made it through the mines and at the bottom. You know a boss is incoming because there's a save station here. Just going to quickly save. So now we are all, well, we're not quite all missiled up. We've got 210. That's enough for anything that's going to come at us. We've got an incredibly large amount of health. I lost a fair bit because I kept falling in Phazon because I'm an idiot, apparently. But yes, now we can come through here into this really weirdly lit, foggy corridor thing that's got... Oh, I thought this was a shadow pirate, but it's not. It's a regular plasma pirate. And this is... Oh, this annoys me slightly. This thing up here, if you scan it. Security gate bypass encased in frigidite shell. By frigidite, do you mean ice? Frigidite. That's, I think, the only example in the game of frigidite. Otherwise, it's just called ice. Anyway, we can actually get a cheeky scan of the boss before we engage it if we're clever. Here we go. This saves me doing it in the battle. This is the Omega Pirate, the most powerful of the elite pirate forces. Omega Pirate can become invisible to normal sight. It is vulnerable when cloaked as its all energy is drawn from defense systems. By exposing itself to Phazon, it can regenerate damaged tissue and organs. Considered the pinnacle of elite pirate program, this enemy should be handled with extreme caution and maximum firepower. So, the Omega Pirate. As you can see, there are kind of 4 plates on it that you can target. It's 2 on its shoulders, 2 on its knees, the Phazon plates. Our first job is to take them out. The 2 on the knees can be taken out by dropping a power bomb underneath it. Smashes them easily. The 2 on top, well, we've got one already, apparently. The best way of doing this is... Ooh! The best way of getting these normally is Wave Buster, because Wave Buster locks on automatically, and even its fancy repulsor beam can't block the Wave Buster. All the plates are now damaged. It's not actually vulnerable at this point, but if we watch it carefully... So the first thing it's doing is summoning other coloured pirates, and it has gone completely invisible. That is the chameleon mantra that it talked about earlier in the game. Chameleon, it should be mantle, I think, but they say mantra instead. But keep an eye on X-ray, because you need to see where it's going to go. You can roughly see it without it, but it'll make a sound. It's not actually at all visible yet, so it'll make a sound soon and appear at one of those pools of Phazon to heal itself. There we go, it's over there. Now is your chance to hit it. Super missiles are your friend here, because as you can see, they do a colossal amount of damage. So, we've done a third of its health already. Actually, slightly more, I think, because I got half a hit on from that last one. It's now over here. So, if we switch up to the X-ray visor again, and another hit, 2/3 of its health down. It is incredible how quickly you can damage this thing if you're fast. Now, I believe... Oh! No, it didn't spawn in on me. It just... Oh, where's it gone? It's... Okay, right. It's back physical now. It's worth noting its wavequake generators are capable of just killing... All its weapons can, like, kill the normal pirates that it has with it. So I tend to just kind of leave them there. That power bomb was supposed to destroy its knees and didn't. That's problematic. Let's let off another power bomb. Our final power bomb, actually. There we go. That sounded like it destroyed its knees, and indeed it did. And it destroyed a couple of those other ones as well, the other pirates. And let's Wave Buster it there. And that's one plate down. Oh, look at the Wave Buster arcing into it. That's really cool. Maybe we need to be targeting it a bit better. There we go. Now we're onto it. And that's the other one down. So now it's going to do the whole thing of kind of going to the chameleon mantra again. So during that time, I'm just going to fight these guys. Well, apparently not. They didn't put much of a fight at all. I'm going to switch to the power beam and just keep an eye on him. For now, there's a couple of wave ones. Actually, I'm going to Wave Buster these guys just because I want to try and take them out quickly. Because I want to be not fighting people when he makes himself visible. He's still hiding at the moment. Well, makes himself visible to X-ray. He's completely hiding at the moment. He only becomes visible once he's feeding on Phazon. Right, that's the sound of him becoming invisible. There he is. And boosh! Phazon suit acquired. Our final power-up. Your suit has been infused with pure Phazon. This corruption prevents damage from Phazon radiation. And also, it looks cool as fuck. I absolutely love the design of it. Like, even just the morph ball. Oh, God, it looks so cool. It's the kind of shiny black, silver, and red lights look. It's one of the coolest things in the game, and it's a shame you get it this late. But I kind of like the feel it's got of slightly unique of being a kind of, like, a suit that you acquire from being, like, corrupted rather than actually being, like, an actual bonus. You get it because the fucking pirate lands on you. Now, power's gone to the whole place, and Metroids are beginning to escape. You'll notice I'm not actually going through. There was another door leading out of the Elite Pirates, the Omega Pirates boss room, but I'm not actually going through there. I'm actually backtracking a fair bit through here. Actually, I'm going to go to Quarantine Access B. So here is a new scan. This is a new type of Metroid, the final type of Metroid. This is a fission Metroid. Metroid with the ability to split into 2 forms. The fission Metroid is a mutant capable of splitting in 2. This split endows the new creatures with invulnerability to most weaponry. This effect is unstable, resulting in a weakness to a type of weapons fire. The vulnerability appears to be random due to the chaotic nature of Phazon mutation. So basically, after it takes a few hits, the Metroid will split apart into 2 flavors of Metroid, like we have flavors of Pirate. So that is a power Metroid on the left there, well, this one I'm targeting now. It's just like a standard Metroid, except for the fact that it's only vulnerable, other than morph ball weaponry, to power beam based weaponry. It's on me, so I'm going to take it off with a couple of morph ball bombs. Didn't actually kill it. And there's one of those for each flavor, and it's random what flavor they turn into. So the other one down there is a wave Metroid, I suppose. They're not all separate scans or anything like that. Oh, do remember, yeah, this is the fucking crazy room with the dumb X-ray bombos that have actually accidentally come into me by using charge beam too much. There's a Metroid down there, but he's not doing anything. I'm gonna wave buster him. There we go. That worked well. Right, that wasn't entirely... That was a nice thing that's on the way, but where I'm actually heading to is the Phazon mining tunnel. So, pretty much the main function of the Phazon suit, other than generally making us a bit stronger and take less damage, is complete immunity to Phazon. What I'm doing now, you pretty much... I think if you've got every single energy tank up to this point, you can just make it in and out of this section while taking damage from the Phazon before getting the Phazon suit, but it's essentially impossible and there's no point trying. That missile expansion we got last episode from rolling in Phazon you can get now, but it was easy enough to get then, and BAM! The final Chozo artifact in the game, this is the artifact of Newborn, the last of 12. Appropriate that we get it last. Some of the ones you seem to get in order, some you don't at all. Anyway, let's now head back. I'm going to head via the missile station, because I'm basically out of missiles, but then I'm going to head back to where we just fought the Elite Pirate. Omega Pirate even, I always get them confused. So, back here in the Elite quarters, where the kind of Omega Pirate was, like everywhere else in the Phazon Mines, there's now Metroids everywhere, to the point where I'm not really going to bother to fight them, because fish on Metroids are really annoying to fight, because there's no quick trick with them. So, like, they're relatively, like, easy enough enemies, they're just time-consuming to fight, that you've got to kind of shoot them until they split, and then focus on the two split ones with different beams. If they're oh my god, if they're power-based ones, that's fine. But like if they're different flavors, they get more annoying. Anyway, time for the final energy tank of the game. A lot of important stuff coming up soon like that, because this is the penultimate episode. If we scan this, it opens the security gate. You could have got around here to the other side of this anyway. And this, well, if you tanked it through running through a massive corridor of Phazon, I suppose, it's possible. It's not really recommended, but here's a funny thing. That one always does that. There are a couple of places in this room where Metroids really easily die if they swim into them. That wall is one of them, and any of these kind of like protruding bits of Phazon also, like, if we look, watch, if we lure this fish on Metroid over here. Come on, here, Metroid. Yep! Don't know what it is about this room, but apparently, yeah, everything in it is fucking lethal to Metroids, which is strange. But yes, this room, as you can see, it's quite a big one, and this is a kind of central area for how to get around. It's the Phazon Processing Center. This can actually access the other floors of the Phazon Mines, and we could have got here a lot earlier. We just haven't, because I haven't actually needed to. You know me, I don't bother coming anywhere unless we have to, and it felt kind of like slightly sequence breaky anyway. And through here, speaking of getting our final things of everything, here is a missile expansion, and the wall is made of, surprise, surprise. And that is for missile expansion, our final one in the game. And we actually get a thing saying 100% of all pickups acquired. So that's all equipment. Oh, we get a little achievement thing for it. So that's all equipment, missile expansions, power bomb expansions, and whatever the other thing was. Energy tanks, that's it. There's an invisible platform there. Should have pointed that out. Oh, there's a red what the hell? He fell off and then just bloody... What's he doing? Yeah, fall into the Phazon and die. Oh yeah, that goes without saying. Any space pirates that land in Phazon are utterly boned. Unsurprisingly, we've got a special suit now that allows us to resist it. They do not have that luxury. Anyway, what flavour... Oh, this flavour one's purple. I don't know what flavour purple is. Some kind of... A grape, I suppose they would be. So what would they be? Like lemon, vanilla, grape, and strawberry pirates. Well, I would call them that, but I'm actually probably never going to see any again in the game from now on. Because now we're actually going to head. We've got all the artifacts. We've got all the pickups. So, where the fuck is that guy? I'm going to do things to him. He's interrupting my important moment there. Is that a power pirate up there? Well, let's find out. Hey, 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 hey. Surprise! Yes, suck it, bitch. Oh man, he fell all the way down. Yeah, so we've got 100% of the pickups. We've got all the artifacts. So there's actually nothing more for us to do than bring the artifacts to the Artifact Temple and open the seal down to the Impact Crater. I will see you at the Artifact Temple. So, here we are at the Artifact Chamber, with the Artifact Temple even, with all 10 artifacts, or 10 or 12 artifacts in hand. So, without further ado, to the Central Totem we go. Ah, yes. You'd probably forgotten about him, hadn't you? As had I. This is, unsurprisingly, Meta Ridley. I love his character design. I don't love many things about him, as you'll see over the course of this boss battle, but I do love that. Meta Ridley, genetically enhanced Ridley life metaform. Reborn and evolved through space pirate technology, Meta Ridley is a fearsome enforcer. Its armoured hide is extremely resilient, save for the chest, which has thinner plating. The pirates have fused a number of potent weapons to the creature, including a multi-missile system, a kinetic breath weapon, a meson bomb launcher, and an ultra-thermal flame strike projector. Meta Ridley is also a formidable melee combatant, making any sort of engagement a risky proposition. Like it mentioned, his main weakness is his chest, and there are two main ways of hitting it. There, you can see super missiles do well, and what does well as well is, if he's in the right position for it, the Wave Buster, which just kind of constantly drains on his chest. It's good because it keeps doing it wherever he goes, but it does drain your missiles quite rapidly. But you don't really need missiles for much in this battle, so honestly, I'm going to stick with the Wave Buster for now. And he's doing a thing you'll find him doing a lot. If he fucks off and flies around. So I'm going to get this started. While it's conceptually very cool, I don't like this boss battle. It's not that it's difficult or anything like that, which it can be at times, but as you'll see, it's incredibly time-consuming. Most of it is just basically, it's a classic study in bad Nintendo boss design of, it's supposed to be a cool battle, but in reality, it just ends up being you waiting most of the time for your tiny chance to hit, and then otherwise just kind of like roughly dodging him. As you can see, the Wave Buster can still target him during that whole time. I would say use the Wave Buster till you get down to about 100 missiles, then consider switching to super missiles, just because super missiles are kind of much more reliable and much less missile heavy than the Wave Buster, even though the Wave Buster is, as you can see, much easier, because we got him down to like a third of his health already. And like, I just don't like, regardless of my opinion of this boss battle, I don't like Meta Ridley's role in this game. I feel like he was, like, I'm not a massive Metroid fan. I haven't played many of the games outside of the Prime ones, but I know Metroid is Ridley is like a fan favorite because there's all the campaigns for him to be in Smash and that kind of thing. Therefore, I kind of feel like he was shoehorned into this game quite in quite an ugly fashion. Basically, you see him right at the beginning on this pirate frigate and he fucks off. Your first goal in the game is supposed to be chasing him, but in reality, you don't really see anything of him for ages. You see him fly over Phendrana Drifts once, and then he appears here right at the end. Like, plot-wise, what he's doing here makes sense. The kind of, there's no point gathering the artifacts, let's just wait for Samus to gather them, and then ambush and kill her and take the artifacts from him. Like, it's a very logical thing like that. But I have trouble believing that this entire time that, like, I was running around the Phazon Mines, fucking up the elite pirates and stuff like that, and gathering the artifacts, Ridley was just sitting around on his ass. Like, he wasn't involved in the Phazon Mines or anything like that. It just feels very awkward like that he's kind of like shoehorned in here, and it feels like they basically just thought, they got fairly far through the development of the game and thought, oh, you know what would be a really cool boss to put towards the end? Ridley! And so they kind of throw him in here, and then they're like, oh, we need an explanation as to why Ridley's there. Oh, let's put all this shit in earlier on in the game then. And I don't buy it, personally. Also, that missile is still following him and will still hit him, usually. It's also, I'm genuinely worried it might be one of the first times in any LP I might ever actually have to cut during a boss fight, because it's just really long and time-consuming. Because, I hate to admit it, but this is only the first phase. Granted, it's weird that you do, like, the majority of his health in the first phase. To see where he's going to emerge there, just kind of keep an eye on your radar. And we've just about pretty much done enough damage to him to bring... It's basically when he's on about 1/5 of his health. There we go. So, now we enter the ground phase, so he can't fly anymore. Switch to the plasma beam for this, and your main goal is to target his gob whenever it's open. Right, he's now... Oh, there we go. Shit, it's charging at me. Yeah, missiles and beam combos, all that stuff, none of that is particularly useful here. What you want to do is what I did, so kind of hit his gob enough when he'll flash yellow, and then eventually he'll flash red. Oh, he's jumping on me. He'll flash red, and his chest will be exposed. Pump plasma beam into that then. You haven't really got enough time to charge up a super missile. Beam combos don't seem to do that much against him, so basically that's why I'm never that fussed about using up missiles in the early part of it, because you don't use missiles at all in this part. But this bit, if you thought the first part of his boss battle was repetitive, this second phase is, oh my god, it's the worst. Basically, yeah, you can only get, they're not even hits on him, you can only do kind of weakening damage to him when his gob's open, and he's doing his kinetic breath weapon again. That's a ridiculous name. There's one way, there we go, we've got his kind of chest open again. You basically just got to do individual shots there. Even charge shots don't seem to do much. Ah, there we go. When he's doing that thing where he pulls back, basically he pulls back, opens his mouth and then charges at you, you've got a tiny fraction of a second where his mouth is open there. If, as he's pulling his head back, you let off a charge beam shot, you charge the shot up while he's pulling his head back, and then let go of it just as he opens his mouth. It'll actually stop the charge from happening and do a fair bit of, again, not damage to him, but kind of preparing to damage him points. There! Tiny little thing. And that's basically the only trick I've got for actually speeding this battle up. Because otherwise, it is a long one. And otherwise, it is really cool, because you're in this, like, artifact temple in the middle of, like, a massive thunderstorm, fighting this seriously cool-looking, like, cyborg dragon thing. Yep, nope, actually missed it there. Most of his attacks are fairly easy to dodge. Like, you can see, one thing you might not have noticed is when he destroys, like, the various, there we go, the various totems around the artifact sites. Each one he destroyed drops, like, missiles or health and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons it doesn't actually appear like we've lost that much health, because we've not even lost one energy tank, which is ridiculous when you think about it. On some of the harder modes, he basically, so there's, like, veteran mode, and then there's also hyper mode, which you only unlock by beating it on normal or veteran once anyway. But, like, on those modes, this boss battle is extremely time consuming. It just takes ages, and it's a bit annoying for that extent. But hey, we've nearly got him now. See, there, it just didn't seem like I was actually damaging him at all. It's the angle you need to hit his chest on there is really weird. But my main advice is, yeah, that little trick where he kind of does the charge attack, and BAM! Nope. You've got it. The timing is specific on it, but it can speed the fight up massively. You can let it off. As I said, missiles, combos, none of them are particularly seem to be worth it. So yeah, my advice is just, see, that's not doing any damage. Why is that not doing any damage? Ugh. I don't get this boss battle sometimes as well. I looked up, like when I was practicing for this. There we go. Now I'm doing damage to it. I kind of looked it up, and no one really seems to have agreed. There's some glitchy ass tactic you can do involving boost balling into him that basically burns off his wings almost like instantly. It powers through the first phase, but for the second phase, no one seems to have a particularly solid strategy other than just wait and. But anyway. It's a cliched thing, but it looked cool with all those bird heads lasering Ridley off. That actually didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought, as in, originally I planned to do the Omega Pirate one episode, and then Ridley the next episode, and then go into the Impact Crater that episode as well, but to be honest, I managed to smoosh them both into one, and I don't even think it's been that long. But yeah, screw it, let's head into the Impact Crater.